Hi, everybody. It's Sunday morning. Happy Sunday, happy weekend, November 17th. I'm giving you a briefing on the markets and a few different opportunities for you to take a look at. Um, a lot of things are kind of getting away from us. This is the stage in which this is going to happen repeatedly. And for some of us, no, I shouldn't say some of us, for some of you, it will be frustrating because of the lack of action taken during the times when we have been planting seeds. My approach with this stuff, guys, if you're new, welcome. But I'm in this game in crypto and in the capital markets, investing any type of format that I'm involved in equities or funds or tokens, doesn't matter. I'm in it to win it. I make money. And yes, I have downswings. The summer would be a perfect example where, you've heard from me then when we had the big pullback in altcoins. Some of them are still down and there still are a lot of opportunities out there. But, this is where it gets a little bit frustrating for me. And I really want to relay this to you guys. You have to be active. Even right now, if you're not playing catch up, like, okay, Bitcoin's at 90,000. Many people think I missed it. Well, yeah, you screwed it up. You knew you should have bought it or bought more before. I'm talking in general, guys, because there's some of you that I'm sure are like very savvy, and maybe you're even, professional fund managers or something, or you're a family office in crypto on top of it. That's great. I'm not necessarily talking to you, but this is the majority of subscribers that I know, even like with my premium service and from my other newsletter that I've had since 2011 in the mining space. I get feedback from them all the time, and I'm just like befuddled. Like, you don't, we just had some of you may have gotten involved in Cypherpunk, which is now Soul Strategies, one of the two stocks that I've been talking about buying and owning throughout this bull cycle, which is Galaxy Digital, which we started buying that at $1 Canadian to $1.50 Canadian. It's probably close to 20 right now. It went to 40 something in the last cycle. I still own most of that. Took some off in the last cycle. And it's not a minor, I don't invest in minors with the equities. There's a lot of people that are probably listening to this. If you came from the world where you're used to stocks but not tokens, and then Cypherpunk, basically, we bought this thing. I was very consistent to sock it away. And to me, it was very easy to do so in the sense that this thing was trading at a discount. For a while there, it was like up to 50% of a discount on the assets on their balance sheet, the crypto that they held. Um, and then a big chunk of ownership in Animoca Brands. And I'm like, this thing is just not getting anywhere near the love it should. They made some changes, made some shifts. They went all in on the Solana ecosystem. Sure enough, the stock in the last, I don't know, 6 to 8 weeks has gone from 10, 15 cents Canadian. It hit a high of like $2.30 very quickly. And then there comes another problem. Excuse me, it's a good problem to have, but how and when do you get out? So I've put out my alerts with premium members, and I did put one out here as well where I said, listen, I'm out of, at one point it was I'm out of half, and then the other one was I'm out of, well, I think the first one was I'm out of a third to a half, and the next one was I'm out of two-thirds of the position. And that's as it climbed. It was just going up every day. And the last alert that I put out um was right towards the top, but I started taking profits much earlier than that. And I'm so fine with that because I had a ton of it. And you're never going to pick that toppity top, so you have to learn how to scale out and scale in, not all at once, not all in one or two tokens that are going to save you, and be the savior to your financial problems or dreams. It just doesn't work that way. But anyway, we had a huge winner with that. And but not a lot of people stuck with it. We had a lot of people that gave up along the way and just said there's no action here. And when I've texted a bunch of my people that I know had owned it at one time, and I said, "How'd you do?" And I've had a couple people say, "I just want to shoot myself, like because I gave up and I sold it, 6 months ago or something." So that sucks. But I'm going to talk a little bit about what we can do in terms of making money. I know, Bitcoin, I've been preaching on this for so long, and I get more and more aggressive when we're in down cycles. And I've been aggressive here when we were in the consolidation period. And, I know it's difficult because you hear a lot of different people making a lot of different calls, and you don't really know who to listen to. At the end of the day, you have to listen to yourself. But the problem with this sector is that a lot of people don't really understand it, and it's a long learning curve. All I can tell you is that I've put in the work. I've probably exceeded over 15,000 hours studying blockchain, crypto, and everything to do with this universe since the first Bitcoin I bought was in 2016. I really went underground starting in 18 in that bear market and really absorbed a ton of information. I still stay on top of it to this day, to attempt to stay ahead of what the themes will be in the bull cycle, within the bull cycles, to stay ahead of that. We picked up early on the Solana outperformance of Ethereum. I still love AI in this move, even though some of the smaller ones have gotten smashed. There's real opportunities in that. And then, people are talking about the Solana situation over Ethereum, and I'm like, that trade's over. And maybe not over. It's gonna, potentially outperform ETH from here to the end of the bull cycle. But quite frankly, I just bought more Ethereum because it's been underperforming Bitcoin, badly. And I still think it will outperform Bitcoin in the cycle. And Solana's had everybody and their mother piling into this thing. And so do I think Solana's going higher? Yeah. And listen, I own like 200 like I own like 2000 tokens in Solana, and my cost average is like $19. So it's a little different, when you're looking at it now. I just you got to buy these things on pullbacks. You get a hit list, and there are going to be the shakeouts. You have to stay somewhat disciplined in terms of the fact that even if you really wanted a deal, you don't get sucked in when they're running. Get into the discipline of buying this stuff when they're shaking out. And it's a volatile area, so they will always have chances. You will always have chances where you get a 20-30% violent shakeout, then put the ones on that you missed or that you had on your watch list. The other big piece here that I just want to address is that basically the all-time high in when I look at my various accounts on central exchanges and DeFi, where I buy like some of them, where I buy a lot of the small tokens, the really speculative stuff, and then Coinbase is sort of my staple, where I keep my biggest positions Bitcoin, second biggest is Ethereum, and then it goes on down with a lot of the OGs like Chainlink, Filecoin. I have a number. Let me see if I can even see it here. Yeah. So, um, I have a number of new school plays in there. I really like it. I'm going to give you guys one right now that I think has been over bludgeoned and has not bounced back yet, that I'm very bullish on, is Hivemapper. Honey is the symbol. You can buy it on Coinbase, and this is a D-pin RWA play, growing sort of similar to Helium in its earlier days. And I was actually very early in Helium, but that was from I actually ordered the Wi-Fi box, and I ordered a few of them because I'm like, I'll set these up and I'll just get all these Helium tokens, and I just never did it, and it went up like, I don't know, 30x from there. But anyway, and there's others here that I really like. I'm just going to throw it out there. It's in our premium membership, you have a model portfolio with various chunks, the top 60 coins, which ones I own there, the percentage of allocation, what I would buy them up to maximum. Uh, so you can easily gauge, okay, these are below buy up to prices. I'm going to go shopping. This one's way below that buy up to price. And obviously, Eric still likes it. Nothing's changed. Um, and you can work it out that way on your own time. But then we have, the lower levels. I go into the mid caps. We have about 6 or 7 that are 100 million to a billion in market cap, and then I have. I don't really want to get this thing up here actually today. Uh, we have the micro caps that are, really tiny stuff. A few $1 million market cap flyers. It's just like, so anyway, the point I was trying to make is that I've always said when you're getting into crypto, pick a number, a percentage of your allocation of your investable assets as a goal that you want to have. Last cycle, we were all sitting there begging people to put 1% of your money in crypto. This cycle, I think you're foolish if you don't have at least 10% of your portfolio in Bitcoin and crypto. You're just way off. Your financial advisors, all these guys, I was one for 16 years. They're out of it. They'll get the roadshow from BlackRock, and then they'll start getting you'll get calls from them on buying the Bitcoin ETF and hearing their pitch, of which they barely know anything about, because finally they can actually put it in your account in a stock and get a wrap fee for it. Like, they're just out of the loop. So, you listen to people that are in archaic times. So, I mean, I think it's irresponsible to not have at least like 5 or 10% of your portfolio, even if you just put it in Bitcoin. I wouldn't even be opposed to putting half of what you want to put in Bitcoin right now, and then wait for that if there is a pullback. The problem is it just went through all-time highs. So, where's it going to pull back to? I mean, maybe 70,000 if you're super lucky, but that's the way we are. That's where we're at right now. I do still like Ethereum, but the point is that I end up saying always you should have half to 2/3 of your entire portfolio in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then certainly in the large cap, mid cap arena, and then a third to a quarter of your portfolio where you're playing, very speculative. I'm going for 20, 50, 100 baggers. And that's why, like right now, I'm very happy that I have all of those quote unquote boring coins in Coinbase, because it's not like they don't go up a lot. They're just not going to go up 50x because they're already very large. But um, look what happens in the early phase. It's the big boys that move. And then you're still sitting there. And if you're just a gambler that goes into one or two of the small, micro caps, and they haven't moved yet, or they're down still from the correction in March, you get upset and disturbed, and then you either sell it or you just don't know what you're doing. You give up and you don't have any conviction, or you want to wait and see how things are going to work out. I mean, you've got to get active in the smaller stuff now, because a lot of them haven't moved yet. So I'm just going to give you a few different names to consider that I've divulged here before. And then I am going to say we've had some communication flubs with regard to the fact that we had sent out for first time new subscribers. There's a discount. I think it's 40 or 50% that we offered out. Some people took us up on it, but we had fragmented the sell list. So I talked to my team last week, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to put the link in there today, and it's going to be valid until the end of November, or until we hit 25 people. I'm only giving the deal to 25 new people. And listen, I mean, the difference in what is popping, in premium versus the somewhat sporadic emails you get from me, on top of my analysts' weekly news updates, which are great. It's just a different deal. Like we've got, I'll just mention this one of my sort of special deals that I've covered only for premium members is VitaDAO, which is in the decentralized science arena. And, that thing is just tripled in a month and it looks fantastic. And it's backed by Vitalik, it's backed by Balaji, it's backed by Pfizer Ventures, for better or for worse. It's all longevity. And speaking of that, um, I will say, and I've talked about this one before, Rejuve AI, RJV. I would still buy that one. It's still down quite a bit from uh, you know from the run that it had earlier in the year. Yeah, it's up. Oh shoot, it's already up to 46% now today. Boy, doesn't matter. If you can get around 2 cents, it's still just a $5 million market cap. RJV. This is what's going to happen all the time. You get these moves of like 30, 50, 100% in a day with these small ones, and they're just going to continue. And then they keep going, and it's going to be insane. And if you're on the sidelines, you're either going to chase things in and, you're going to panic and you're going to be upset because everybody's making all kinds of money and you want to make money too, or you get to work on being disciplined and buying the stuff that's still very reasonably priced and haven't moved yet. So Honey, okay, is one on Coinbase. Um, Rubik, RBC is my biggest tiny cap position. Look at this, $2.6 million market cap. This is like my cost average, 0.015. I own 6 million Rubik. Uh, More than that now. I've bought more lately. This is a layer two that's got a lot of developer activity on GitHub, and it's utilized. It's got a big following. There's a lot of people that use their bridges and swaps, and I think it's highly undervalued. And this one, I think, will take off. There's value there, and it's one I'm betting big on. MND. I don't know if I talked to everybody about this, but I'm going to share it because the last time that I put something out, I don't know if I shared it here just in premium, but I was pounding the table. It was at 2 cents. And basically, I ended up saying, this is one I'm really loading into. And essentially, what ended up happening was this token. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to pause 1 second here. Hello. Thank you. You too. Sorry about that. Um, And right after I put that out, MND ripped to 9 cents. It's come all the way back down. So you can see here actually, yeah, so there's the 1 month. Let's look a little bit past that 1 month. And it wasn't that long ago, right here. This was it, 924. It went up to 9 and it's come all the way back down. And this is a very interesting AI play that just came out not that long ago. It hasn't even been out for a year. It's been to 30 cents. You can buy this on MetaMask or Uniswap, not on like a MEXC exchange. The other ones with Rejuve, Rubik, and I also still really like Big Data Protocol, BDP, excellent, cheap AI play. So consider this just a taste, if you want to go look at some things that I think are still super cheap, haven't had their big moves yet at all. Go with RBC, MND, BDP, and then you can look at some Rejuve, even though it's taking off. And I would really encourage everybody to take a piece of Honey, Hive Mapper. Beyond that, I would just encourage you guys, like, if the premium service, we are going to absolutely destroy things. Uh, I'm going to stop the screen share so I can actually look at, for example, we put out the model portfolio in late August and put it out in late August. And I came out with, we had our top micro cap holdings, and then I put in new micro gems to buy. There's one, two, three, four, there's 8. One of them between tripled and quadrupled, one tripled, one's up 5x, one went up 3.5x, one went 3.036 cents to 20, and the other ones are in the buy territory. So you can still go and pick those out. And then there's a whole other chunk here in the top microcap holdings, like the Vita Dow. We had that as a buy under $1.50. It's well over 3 now. But there's others in there that are still waiting to be bought and waiting to move. Get your hands on the model portfolio. Get moving. All I can tell you guys, I mean, I wish I could do it by osmosis. This is a little difficult with doing this. Whereas, like, if I'm talking about a security and a stock with a bunch of people that are familiar with the stock market versus folks that just don't quite understand what this whole world is, with tokenization and blockchain and cryptocurrency, there's just too much tentativeness. If you're going to throw any caution to the wind, I'm not talking about risking huge amounts of money, but this is a situation where you can allocate 10 or 15% of your investment portfolio here. And like within 6 to 18 months, it could be over half of your net worth. That's what happened to me last cycle. And it's going to happen again. So take us up on that offer. I mean, whatever you put an investment in, I think there's like it's nothing. It's nothing. I charge nothing for what I've put into this and what we share, because there will be losers. I've had a couple that were public here that they were duds. They ended up not working out. But here's the reality is, like, then we have this cypherpunk situation that goes up 25, 30 times. We have all these other ones that are going up like crazy. I just know that there's going to be several that are wrong, they could go to zero. It doesn't matter. When you've got the big picks that win in huge ways, it makes up for all of that. But a lot of people don't have the patience or the aptitude, maybe not the capital, but it doesn't really matter about the amount you put in these things. It's about the percentages of what you have and what you put in crypto. And then I wouldn't spread yourself out super thin in these things. And I'm not a big fan, even if you're like a small investor. I mean, in the tiny micro caps, you can get started with $500 or $1,000 a coin, no problem. Try to, increase that to something where, like, if you ended up seeing it go up 10x, 20x, 30x, is that going to make a difference in your life? That's how I would gauge it. But the bigger ones, they merit bigger allocations. They're not as risky, and you guys, like, we're not overheated yet. This thing is just getting going. I mean, my target, I've talked about this since early summer when Bitcoin was trading, close to 50,000. My minimum target by Christmas was $88,000. And we already beat it. And so I will say this, it's just, not to pat myself on the back, because there have been times when I've been wrong on bets and, even directional trades for myself and things like that. But in general, having calls in terms of where this stuff is going and getting ahead of cycles, that's probably the one thing I would say can be frustrating for others, is like, I welcome going into a half of a position in something I like and then having it pull back for 3 to 6 months so I can just accumulate more. Others would look at that as like, you didn't call it at the bottom and it didn't go up fast. That's not what I do here. So if that's what you're looking for, go on your chat boards and listen to Johnny Schmo pick some pump and dump scheme and then they rug pull you. I have no relationships at all with any of the tokens that I recommend. This is just my money, my portfolio, sharing it with you guys. So, if you do well, it's because I'm doing well. If you do shitty, it's because I'm doing shitty, and that's just the way it is. But I like to get ahead of these things a little bit. And if you roll with me during this cycle, there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to have periods where we're up considerably, and then we'll deal with the real challenge, which is exit. We'll deal with that later. Cheers.